On October 9, 2025, the world woke up to an economic announcement that was nothing short of a declaration of war. Not a war fought with tanks or missiles, but a war controlling everything in our modern lives. From the phone in your hand to the computer you work on, the electric vehicle you drive, and even the most advanced weapons used by global armies. China, the global factory, has just turned off the tap, not of oil or gas, but of something far more vital: rare earth minerals. With one move, Beijing declared, "I set the rules of the tech game now." Within hours, in the White House, Trump received the news. Face flushed, he fired off on Truth Social. 100% tariff on all Chinese imports. The fragile peace between the world's two largest economies shattered. Markets plunged, investors froze. The central questions are: why did China suddenly choose to choke the world by restricting rare earth minerals? How did Trump retaliate? And most importantly, who has the strategic stamina to win this contest? This is what we will discuss together in today's episode. I am your host. This is the Interrunner Plus. We have come to realize that 99% of our viewers aren't subscribing. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new here. It is the free thing you can do to support us making this type of content. Before diving into the conflict, we must understand what rare earth minerals are and why China has the world by the throat because of them. Despite their misleading name, these elements, 17 chemical substances with strange names, and excuse my pronunciation here, neodymium, dysprosium, and samarium, are not truly rare in terms of physical existence. The real challenge lies in their highly complex, costly, and polluting extraction, processing, and refinement, a process most nations abandoned decades ago. China didn't. It mastered the entire chain, quietly turning itself into the world's refinery. Imagine this: China extracts and processes over 90% of the world's refined rare earth minerals. Out of every 10 kilos of rare earth used globally, 9 have passed through Chinese factories. These minerals are the secret nerve center of modern technology. They enable your mobile phone to vibrate, provide powerful lightweight magnets in electric vehicle motors, and are essential components in screens, SSDs, and fiber optics. They drive clean energy turbines and medical scanners. But their true way lies in two arenas: artificial intelligence and warfare. The powerful AI chips sold by companies like Nvidia, which drive the global economy, require these minerals to operate efficiently without overheating. The AI chips that run global data centers depend on these minerals to stay cool and stable. China supplies 99% of the world's dysprosium, most of it from a single refinery near Shanghai. And in the military, they're everywhere, in radar, missile guidance, and even the F-35. Every American fighter jet flying today contains samarium mined and refined in China. The paradox: America's most advanced weapons are built with minerals controlled by its greatest rival. China's move on October 9 was not arbitrary. It was carefully calculated step planned for over months, perhaps years. Beijing was playing a long game of chess. China spent the preceding year obligating exporters to provide detailed reports on every shipment of rare earth minerals leaving the country, where it was going, who was using it, and for what purpose. This established a complete database of global supply chains. Then came the strike, a new rulebook taking effect December 1st. 3 measures changed everything. 1. Export licensing. No rare earth or magnets can leave China without government approval. Crucially, the ministry stated that any application related to foreign military suppliers will not be approved. 2. Knowledge lockdown. China banned the export of refining technology, equipment, and even know-how. Engineers in this sector were ordered to surrender their passports, sealing the country's technical expertise inside its borders. 3. The 0.1% rule, or as I would like to call it, the knockout blow. The new rules apply not just to raw minerals, but to any product in the world containing as little as 0.1% of its value from Chinese rare earth minerals. This means if a company in Germany manufactures an electronic chip containing a tiny neodymium magnet sourced from China, the entire product falls under Chinese law. China can legally block the export of that product. As Jimmy Goodrich of the Institute for Conflict and Global Cooperation at the University of California explains, tracing each atom's origin in global supply chain is nearly impossible. In fact, China just gave itself veto power over the world's electronics, from smartphones to missiles. It was a mirror image of Washington's long-arm jurisdiction, only sharper and global. Another reminder before we move on, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the Interrunner Plus. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us a lot. Washington fired back instantly. Trump called China's move a hostile act, accusing Beijing of trying to hold the world hostage. Then came retaliation. 100% tariff shock. Every Chinese import to the US was hit with a new 100% tariff, stacked on the existing 30%. In effect, a total trade freeze. Second, software restrictions. The US blocked exports of critical software to China, crippling blow for industries still dependent on American code. Markets convulsed. The Dow plunged 900 points. The S&P saw its worst fall in months. Trump, visibly enraged, even threatened to cancel his meeting with Xi in Seoul. The trade war that once scarred 2025 was back, bigger, sharper, and more personal. So, the critical question remains, who can endure more pain, China or the US? Let's unpack this together. First, China's edge. 1. Monopoly in control. China holds the lifeline of modern tech. Every chip, motor, and turbine traces back to its factories. Leverage built over decades. 2. Strategic patience. Beijing plays the long game. Analysts say it's convinced it can outlast America's tolerance for economic pain. Jonathan Zan, a fellow at the Brookings Institute, observed that China emerged from previous escalation rounds with the impression that its capacity to withstand economic pain exceeds America's. 3. Massive market. 1.4 billion consumers. US giants like Apple and Qualcomm earn quarter of their profits there, and China knows it. 4. Network of allies. China's trade web across Asia, Africa, and Latin America gives it fallback markets if the US closes its borders. Moving on to America's edge. Technological superiority. The US still designs the world's most advanced chips and software, the brains behind everything China manufactures. 2. Long-term alternatives. Washington is rebuilding its own supply chain, funding mines in Nevada, refineries in Texas, and partnerships in Australia and Canada. The goal? Break China's 90% monopoly within 3 years. The US has already invested in domestic mining companies like MP Materials and Troglo Metals to reduce dependence on China. The Trump administration announced in July 2025 it would take stakes in these mining companies, indicating massive government support. 3. Strong allies. Europe, Japan, and South Korea share the same fear, a world run on Chinese minerals. Together, they can squeeze Beijing with unified trade pressure. The European Union has expressed severe anxiety. Sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face. You know how the EU only expresses worries for everything around the world and takes little to no action. Anyway, the EU called on China to act as a trustworthy partner. The stakes are enormous. China bets the West will fold first as AI supply chains get disrupted, which the World Trade Organization reported were responsible for nearly half of the annual increase in global trade growth in 2025. On the other hand, America bets tariffs and tech bans will choke China's economy faster. This isn't just a trade fight, it's a full-blown tsunami hitting the shores of the global economy. In the near term, prices of phones, laptops, and EVs will surge. Tech investment will stall as supply chains seize up. However, the long-term impact is far more profound. Neha Mukherjee, an analyst specializing in rare earth minerals, stated to Reuters that the world is approaching a phase of structural division. Instead of one integrated global economy and a single supply chain, we may see two parallel systems forming, one wired by the US and its allies, the other engineered by China. This shift will fundamentally reshape global trade, politics, and alliances for decades to come. And this brings us to the question of the episode. What happens to humanity when technology itself becomes the battlefield? Let me know your thoughts in the comment. This is the Interrunner Plus. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us a lot.